Welcome back to Boruto Anime Review. This is episode number 70. Yeah, 70 reviews. Not bad. Only about 30 to go before we reach the 100 review for the series. Yep. This is reviewing the 70th episode of Boruto Naruto No Exploration, The Other Side of Anxiety. A character-focused episode on Metal Lee. Not a bad idea. And I gotta say, this one was much more the writing for this one is a tremendous improvement over his last one he had way back in episode 3. Yeah, that was supposed to be a character-focused episode for Metal Lee, and it was disappointment. This one was not disappointment. This one basically felt like a good character piece for him. And like I said in last week's episode, where we're going to see appearance of both Rock Lee and my guy. I'm so happy to see these two, and I love my guy's interest in this episode. You see Metal Lee after he's depressed the fact his father won't teach him so that postponed the training for the mastering the eight gates. Yeah, that was something they brought up in the original series as well, where Rock Lee spent a lot of time knowing that particular powerful move. Yeah, he's just very depressed, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a wheelchair just falls right out of the sky. Who's in this wheelchair? Why Mike? Why the awesome Mike Guy? And apparently, Iwami's a big Mike Guy fan. He's just like so happy he got a chance to even listen to his lecture and even got a chance to fight him in the episode. And as for him, like, despite the fact remembering that he fought in the Fourth Ninja War, and the fact he fought alongside Naruto, he forgot his opponent. Now, the viewers know who he fought in the original series. Well, he fought in Shippuden anyways. He fought one of the founders of the Hidden Leaf Village, Manoru Uchiha, who, according to Watch Mojo, is the best villain in the entire series, which I do kind of agree, because his basically the way they develop him as a villain is much more interesting what the Kaguya come completely out of nowhere. Yep. Yeah, him basically not remembering who he fought, I'm not all that surprised because half the time he forgets who he fights anyways. Because he's fought so many people over the years. That's just the way my guy is. Yep. And we also have an appearance by Shino. Great to see Shino. I think this is actually the first time in a little while. It's only been just a handful of episodes since we last see him. I think he did appear during the tuning exam. But aside from that, he hadn't really taken like a big speaking part, at least a lines, in quite a while. I would say not since episode 50. Yeah. Excuse me, that was 20 episodes back that happened. Yeah, so pretty much Metal Lee has this really dumb thing where he bought a necklace online that apparently is supposed to cure anxiety, and his father is very upset the fact he bought this thing, and my guy is a little disappointed. Now, this reminds me very heavily of when Naruto chastised Boruto for having that ninja tool. This is similar. Very similar situation. The only difference is Naruto just took the thing off and threw it on the ground. Metal Lee destroyed the necklace, and then all of a sudden he decided to buy 2 more for no reason at all, which is a little weird. Yeah. Oh yeah, and apparently they went on a mission, and a couple missions he went on. One, he was supposed to protect a plate. Yeah, he got right out the door and he dropped it. Yep, he dropped it. All because of his anxiety. And apparently his anxiety also let a thief get away. Okay. You could have had maybe Iwambi go chase after him because of Metal Lee's anxiety. You got Metal Lee go after him. Heck, you could have had either Dekai or Iwambi carry the precious plate because, yeah, they know his anxiety will cause him to drop it. You could just give either one of them, but no, you have to give Metal Lee, the guy who basically suffers from anxiety attacks. Yep. But instead of basically trying to cure it because of advice he got from my guy, he just confronts it and challenges it basically because it's basically part of him. And of course, about halfway through the episode, Rock Lee decides to challenge his own son to a fight. A fight at the training grounds at the Ninja Academy. Yeah. So they fight, and it's a pretty decent fight. And Metal Lee wins. by unlocking the first gate, which I was right. He did unlock the first gate. It was mentioned like, yeah, it kind of looks like the first gate, and yep, it was right. The gate of opening he unlocked. Yep. And Rock Lee did mention at the beginning of the episode when he was teaching Metal about these about the 8 gates and how much the toll can long time usage of the gates can have a toll on your body. He does bring up what happened to Might Guy in, well, the reason why he's in a wheelchair. Though apparently, the way that Might Guy is, he's not bitter against Naruto for saving his life. As a matter of fact, I think he owes him. And plus, also, Might Guy apparently, even though that his leg is probably healed, but he can't exactly walk that much. He can stand up, but he can't walk. Apparently, he's wearing a cast on his leg, and oh yeah, it has Japanese letters of youth on the bottom of the foot. And he always, basically, one of his things he loves talking about is the springtime of youth. Yeah, he loves talking about that. One thing I gotta point out about Might Guy, despite the fact it's been like 15 years since the Fourth Ninja War, him, like Kakashi, didn't really age very much at all. He still looks virtually the same as he did when he last saw him in the final stages of Naruto Shippuden. Yeah, where the only change they did to him, like after the Fourth Ninja War, was give him a new vest as a Jonin. Yeah, all the Jonin got brand new vests. Yeah, let's see what else. Oh yeah, the episode, well, toward the end of the episode, they did this thing where, they did this a few times in the series where, Might Guy and Rock Lee would be crying and they had to hug each other to sort of confront each other. Metal Lee started jumping on as well as like, everyone's like, oh, why in the world do they do this in public? This is so bizarre. They're all like having a little sweat thing. It's some comment in cartoons. It's like, they have no idea what to do when it comes to this. But it is an odd sight to see, but not unexpected when having Might Guy show up or having Rock Lee sort of hug his sensei. And I love the fact that Iwami was basically a fan of Might Guy. It's something, though, you never get a chance to talk to him very much in the episode. He talked to him for like one scene, briefly, but I would have thought he would have asked him a bunch of questions like, what was it like to fight alongside Naruto during the last war, or about the various other battles. I would have thought maybe he would have brought up like what the heck he's been up to since the war. Like, he did mention in the previous series that he was planning writing his memoirs of his various battles he's had over the years, which he's had so many that he can't exactly remember every single opponent he's fought. Yeah. I'm trying to think there was anything else. Yeah, the one thing the show doesn't bother to explain, and not even Might Guy does this anymore. Now, when you see a young version of Might Guy in, I think it was Tower of Time, you see him wearing like this scarf. You see him wearing, actually it's not him, it's actually his father, Might Dai, who actually wears a scarf around his neck. Might Guy never wore the scarf that I can think of. But for some reason, Rock Lee does, and Metal Lee does too, which is a little weird. I get the whole leg brace thing that they wear, which is nothing unusual because I don't really remember seeing a Might Guy wearing the leg brace, but yeah. The only reason why that Rock Lee wears a leg brace, it's part of his training. He wears like weights on his legs. The only other person I can think of in anime who's actually trained with weights on them was Goku and Krillin. The only two I can think of, aside from Rock Lee, who actually has weights on their legs. It's unknown if Metal Lee does. I know Rock Lee has them. I'm not thinking though, what happened to so much weight on his legs? Would it also cause damage to his legs? I have no idea after a long time wearing it. Maybe he's just so used to wearing weights on his legs. Yeah. This overall was a great episode, and I gotta say, way better than last week's episode because this was interesting. It felt like, though, the regular... It seems like the person who wrote the last few episodes was not a regular writer for the series and was just someone who's a fan of soaps and just threw it in there because they felt like it. This one for this particular episode felt like it was basically written by one of the longtime writers of the series. Either I think both. I think this is somebody who may have not only written an episode for Boruto, but also may have did an episode for Shippuden and the original series Naruto. Yeah, that's what it feels like because they mention stuff happened in the previous series and having Rock Lee and Mike Guy do that thing where they cry and they hug each other. Heck, prior to them hugging, Mike Guy is like crying like a waterfall off his face because he's so happy to see his student and his student's son basically having a great battle. And the fact that apparently he's the referee of the match, which is odd to say the least, and apparently he's trained himself to basically jump with his wheelchair. And plus, I love the little scene where Mel Lee basically when he's pushing the wheelchair and he gets to the stairs, like, oh crap, there's stairs. And the way they get around it is quite ingenious. Apparently Mel Lee is trained with boulders to make his give him a lot of good upper body. Basically, he improves his upper body strength to where he can carry Mike Guy over his head and carry him up the stairs despite his anxiety. And he thought he was going to be late, but apparently he made it on time. But that was a really good highlight of the episode. My guess is that was probably due to Rock Lee's intensive training that he probably put on his own son. Okay? But there's still one question. I think a lot of people have been asking this since Naruto 700. Who is Metal Lee's mother? Yeah, a lot of people have asked that question for years. There's been a rumor that it might have been Tenten, but that's never been proven. That's been a theory that one person has given upon the fact that how Metal Lee's face is similar to Tenten's, but this has never been proven at all. And plus, Rock Lee only viewed Tenten as the closest thing he had to a sister. While my guy was basically a father figure to him, and of course, he treated Rock Lee as like his own son. Kind of like how Ashima treated Shikamaru like his own son, even though he never had one. And kind of like, it's kind of similar also with Kurenai treating Hinata like her own daughter, even though eventually she had her own one. In the case of Team 7, I would say Kakashi was... Him and Jiraiya both good father figures both to Naruto. Yeah. But this overall was a really good episode. And also, Boruto himself does make an appearance in this episode. Like the way it was episode 49. He's just there he's there just for 2 scenes and that's it. It's very similar to what happened with Sasumi's team back in episode 49. Which was a fun little episode. This one felt like this was written by somebody who not only who was only read the series, apparently he was also a fan of the original one, where he just referenced like I mentioned, he references stuff from previous series, which was nice. But yeah, next week's episode. Oh, I'm happy about this one too. Apparently, the third Tazekage is coming back. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Not a bad idea. I mean, you had Kakashi show up several times this series, who was Naruto's predecessor as Hokage, so why not Karasuchi's predecessor as Tazekage, her own grandfather? Yep. Oh yeah, and also they did have Mei, the previous Mazakage, they had her show up as well. And I would say the only one who actually is still alive, there's a couple people from the previous generation that haven't really shown in the series yet. They have not shown Sanade for some reason, and they have not shown the previous Razakage A. Yeah, those two they have not shown yet at all. As far as I can tell, Sanade is probably still alive, but she's probably in her 70s. But not only her, she's probably still rocking the gorgeous 20-ish look that she's had for years. That's just my personal theory. But I would love to see her in the series. But it's great to see Onkai in the series. And he looks like he hasn't really, despite being old, he looked like he doesn't, from what I saw from the preview, he looked like he didn't age very much since he was last seen. And he still does the thing because he does the old man trope of, oh, my back! whenever he basically does anything special, after fighting for a little while, he basically complains about his back because his back constantly cracks on him. Yeah, that was a trope from the previous series, and they didn't do very much, but they did it a good amount of time. But not to the point where they found it annoying. But it was like it's a common old man trope that they gave for him for some reason. But excuse me, as for seeing him do it in next episode, I'm not surprised. And plus, the other Kaga coming back for next week's episode, which I'm actually quite happy for that. For a lot of them, I'd say for Gaara, actually for all of this is the first episode of the Chunin exam. It's only been just, I'd say about 4 or 5. I think about 4 episodes. Actually, by next week, it would about 5 episodes since they actually last appeared. Yeah, 5. Though I did hear something that apparently next week's episode was supposed to start off the Misuke arc, which, from looking at the way it looks next week's episode, probably not. Maybe it's a prelude. Yeah, my guess is gonna be a prelude to that very arc. Yeah. So that's really it for this particular video. I don't have any other videos planned for today, but this one I definitely did plan for today because, well, Boruto it came out today. So I figured, though, why the heck not? So yeah, until I see you in the next video. Bye.